The galaxy was quiet that day. Trade ships moved through their normal routes. Patrol units floated near border zones, and thousands of worlds continued their daily life. Nothing strange, nothing unusual. It was just another normal cycle in the endless ocean of stars. But then, everything changed in one moment. Far out on the edge of Sector Thal 4, sensors detected something new. At first, the reading looked like an error. The scanner showed a huge object entering real space without any known jump signature. It did not come through a warp gate. It did not use hyperspace. It did not bend gravity fields. It simply appeared. The first officer on duty almost spilled his drink. He checked the console twice, then 3 times. The reading stayed the same. A ship larger than anything they had registered before had arrived, and it was not sending any identification signal. He called his captain immediately. When the captain looked at the screen, his eyes widened. The ship was massive, shaped like a floating fortress. It had sharp lines, thick armor plating, and a strange dark color that absorbed starlight instead of reflecting it. Nothing in the database matched its design. The captain whispered, "Which empire built this? I don't recognize the structure." "No empire, sir," the officer said with a shaking voice. "It is not tagged, no codes, no records." "Impossible," the captain replied, but he could not look away from the screen. The strange ship drifted forward slowly, silent and cold, like a giant beast waking from a long sleep. It did not send messages. It did not scan anything. It simply traveled forward as if exploring the system. Within minutes, every listening post across the region picked up the signal. The news spread like fire. A mysterious warship had arrived. Different alien factions debated wildly. Some believed it was ancient technology. Some thought it was a lost weapon from a dead civilization. Some feared it was a new threat rising from the dark edges of the galaxy. But one thing was clear. This ship was not normal. Soon, the strongest empire in the region, the Xandor Empire, sent a patrol squad to investigate. Xandor officers were proud, confident, and always ready for a fight. They believed their army was the most advanced in this part of the galaxy, so they approached the unknown ship without fear. Their patrol ships surrounded it carefully. They sent communication signals, warnings, and identification requests. There was no answer. Then one of the officers zoomed in with long-range cameras. He froze, his mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. "Captain," he said quietly, "look at the hull. There is writing." The captain activated the visual feed. The alien soldiers stared in confusion at the strange letters painted across the enormous hull. NS Obsidian Spear, Earth Navy Human Warship. "Human?" an officer whispered. "Is this a joke?" No one spoke for several seconds. The Xandor Empire knew humans existed. They were a small young species who had only recently begun exploring space. They lived on a blue planet, had weak weapons, small ships, and barely any advanced technology. No one saw them as dangerous. In fact, most galactic empires laughed at humans or ignored them completely. "How can humans build something like this?" the captain asked. "This design is impossible for their level of development." The patrol fleet kept their distance, but they could not hide their fear. Everything about the human warship challenged logic. It was larger than any dreadnought the Xandor had built. Its engines were silent, but the ship moved smoothly. Its armor looked like a solid piece of metal with no seams, and, most disturbing of all, it appeared without any trace of a jump. The Xandor ships activated their shields just in case, but the human warship did not attack. It remained still, almost peaceful, almost waiting. Across the galaxy, governments held emergency meetings. Scientists argued. Military leaders shouted. No one believed the reports at first. A human warship this powerful made no sense. Some said the sensors were wrong. Some said humans stole ancient technology. Some said this ship was a trap created by another empire. But the truth remained. The ship was real, and it was here. Meanwhile, the Xandor patrol fleet slowly approached until they were close enough to see details on the hull. The ship looked clean and untouched, as if it was brand new. Blue lights glowed under its armor, pulsing like a heartbeat. One officer asked, "Do we send another message?" The captain hesitated. Before he could answer, the human warship released a soft signal. It was not a threat. It was simple, calm, and clear. "We come in peace," the message shocked every listening station. The voice sounded human but strong and confident. It echoed across the communication network. The patrol officers stared at each other. This warship did not look peaceful. It looked like a weapon designed to crush entire fleets. And yet, the humans sent a peaceful message as if they were politely introducing themselves. Suddenly, the Xandor scanners glitched. Every system went dark for 2 seconds. When the screens came back online, the warship was fully powered. Lights blazed across its massive structure. Energy levels rose. The ship was awake. One officer panicked. "Captain, should we retreat?" "No," the captain said slowly. "We hold position." The atmosphere inside the patrol ships grew heavy. Everyone felt as if they were standing in front of a sleeping titan whose first move could change everything. The human warship did not fire. It did not move aggressively. It simply hovered there, silent, watching. The captain whispered, "What kind of power have humans unlocked?" In that moment, the galaxy realized something terrible. Humans were not weak. Humans were not small. Humans were not harmless, and if this was only one warship, what else were they hiding? The mysterious human warship, UNS Obsidian Spear, continued to hang quietly in space, but its silent presence pushed fear into every corner of the galaxy. Even worlds far away from the Xandor border heard rumors. Some believed the ship came from the future. Others whispered that humans had discovered forbidden technology. No one had answers, but everyone had fear. Inside the Xandor patrol fleet, the officers still watched the human ship with shaking hands. Their sensors kept struggling, flickering on and off like weak lanterns. Every time the screens blinked, they worried the ship had moved or changed position, but it always remained exactly where it was. This only made it more frightening. The Xandor captain tried to keep his voice steady as he contacted their central command. "Command, the unknown vessel belongs to humans," he reported, "but we don't understand how it exists." There was a long silence on the other end. Then the command officer replied, "That's impossible. Humans cannot build a ship of that scale." "With respect, sir, they already have," the captain said. Command demanded more proof, so the patrol ships sent high-resolution images. When the pictures reached the Xandor capital, all council members stood in disbelief. Their own scientists, who usually acted arrogant and proud, suddenly went quiet. The chairperson of the council whispered, "How can humans leap so far ahead?" "We saw them as children," a scientist answered softly. "If they built this, then they grew up while we were not watching." Fear crawled through the council chamber like smoke. Back near the warship, the patrol squad maintained formation, trying to look strong even though everyone knew they were outmatched. A young officer finally spoke what everyone was thinking. "If this is what humans show us openly, what are they hiding?" No one replied. Meanwhile, the human ship powered up more systems. Blue lines of energy flowed across its surface, forming patterns like glowing veins. The ship looked alive, aware, and watching everything around it. Inside the Xandor flagship, alarms stayed on silent mode to avoid provoking the humans. Red lights flashed under the consoles, warning the officers that the human vessel held massive energy levels, far beyond anything recorded. One officer swallowed hard. "Captain, if it attacks, we cannot defend ourselves." The captain nodded slowly. Everyone already knew. Across the galaxy, panic began to grow. Different species reacted in different ways. Some prepared their fleets. Some locked down their planets. Some simply prayed. News channels repeated the same sentence again and again. A human warship with unknown power has arrived. For centuries, humans were seen as explorers, traders, and diplomats. No major empire feared them. The idea of humans building a superweapon felt like a bad joke. But now no one was laughing. The Xandor Empire tried to contact Earth, but every message bounced back, blocked by an unknown firewall. Some believed humans were hiding. Others believed humans were watching the galaxy's reaction. Inside the patrol ships, tension grew heavier. The captain finally gave an order. "Send a respectful message. No threats. No demands." The communication officer nodded and sent a polite signal toward the human warship. "This is Xandor Patrol Fleet 7. We request peaceful communication. Please state your intention." Everyone waited. Seconds passed, then a full minute, then 2. Still no answer. The silence felt louder than any weapon. Suddenly, the human warship activated a bright circular light on its underside. The blue glow spread outward like a ring across its hull. The patrol fleet panicked, thinking it was charging a weapon. "Shields up!" shouted the captain. All Xandor ships raised their shields, but even the strongest one flickered weakly. Their energy systems couldn't handle the stress. It felt like standing under a thunderstorm with a thin umbrella. The bright ring on the human ship expanded, then stabilized. A soft wave of energy washed through the system. All patrol ships felt it pass through their hulls, through their shields, through their bodies. But nothing was damaged. Instead, something strange happened. Communication systems restarted. Navigation became clearer. Sensor readings became sharper. The humans had somehow fixed the system's interference rather than causing it. The captain stared at the readings. "They improved our scanners?" The officers were speechless. This was not an attack. It was a demonstration, a controlled show of skill. The human ship was telling the galaxy, "We can use power without causing harm." The Xandor Empire didn't know how to respond. As the patrol fleet tried to understand the situation, a new signal came from the human ship. This one was stronger and crystal clear, broadcast across multiple frequencies. "Do not be afraid," the human voice said. "We are here for peaceful exploration." The words felt calm, but the galaxy did not relax. If anything, the calm tone made things more frightening. How could a ship so huge, so advanced, so mysterious talk with such gentle confidence? The captain whispered, "Peaceful or not, this level of power is dangerous." At the Xandor capital, military leaders debated. Humans must be hiding something. No one jumps technology this fast. What if they discovered a lost vault of ancient machines? What if they met a higher species? The debates continued, but the fear never left the room. Back at the patrol fleet, the captain made one last attempt to communicate. "Human vessel, can you explain your purpose in this region?" This time the reply came faster. "We seek knowledge. We seek alliance. But we needed to show we can protect ourselves." The line went silent again. The captain sat back in his chair slowly. This was not a threat. It was a statement. Humans had revealed their strength not to invade, but to warn the galaxy that they could no longer be underestimated. Outside the patrol ship windows, the obsidian spear floated like a silent guardian, glowing softly in the dark. No one moved. No one breathed. Everyone understood one truth. The galaxy had misjudged humans. And now humans had stepped onto the stage with a ship powerful enough to reshape the balance of power. Whatever happened next, the galaxy would never be the same. The obsidian spear stayed silent like a giant shadow carved into the darkness of space. Even without firing a single weapon, the human warship felt more threatening than any fleet the galaxy had ever seen. Its calm posture only made it more terrifying. Inside the Xandor patrol ships, fear spread slowly but deeply. The officers tried to pretend they were brave, but their hands shook, their voices cracked, and their eyes never left the screen. They were warriors, but even warriors knew when they were outmatched. Every ship in the patrol fleet waited for orders. But the Xandor Empire took longer than usual to respond. Messages from the capital came overloaded with arguments and confusion. Some wanted to retreat, some wanted to negotiate, and some, the most dangerous ones, wanted to attack. The captain of the patrol fleet had a bad feeling. He could feel it in his bones. Something was about to go wrong. He looked around his bridge. "Stay calm," he ordered. No sudden moves, but not everyone listened. On the smallest ship in the formation, a young officer named Larek watched the human warship with wide, terrified eyes. He had never seen anything like it. It was too big, too quiet, too powerful. The glowing blue patterns across its hull looked like veins of energy waiting to explode. His mind raced. "If humans attack us first, we will all die," he whispered to himself. He wanted to run. He wanted to leave. His instincts screamed danger, so in his panic, Larek made a terrible mistake. He activated his ship's targeting system. It was meant to be a simple scan, but the human warship detected the action instantly. Blue lights flashed across the obsidian spear's surface. The entire Xandor fleet saw it. The captain shouted, "Who targeted them? Shut it down now!" But it was too late. Larek panicked even more and pressed the wrong button. A single warning shot fired from his ship, just one, a small beam of energy, weak, harmless, not meant to cause damage, but it touched the obsidian spear's hull and disappeared, not exploded, not bounced off, Not absorbed, it simply vanished into nothing as if it had never existed. Every Xandor officer froze. What? What was that? Someone whispered. Before the captain could respond, Larrick made his second mistake. He thought the humans were about to annihilate them. His fear took full control and he shouted into his comms, "They're charging a weapon! They're going to fire! Attack now!" His voice echoed across all patrol channels, and those words changed everything. The other Xandor ships panicked. They trusted the warning. They feared the human warship too much. In less than 3 seconds, every ship in the patrol fleet opened fire. Thousands of beams, rockets, and torpedoes flew across space like a storm of deadly rain. They targeted the obsidian spear from every direction. Explosions lit the darkness. Space shook with energy. But when the smoke faded, something unbelievable appeared. The human ship still stood untouched, not a single mark, not a single scratch, not even a ripple in its shields. The captain stared in horror. We did nothing. On the human ship, a soft light glowed from under the armor. It was not bright or violent. It was calm, steady, and controlled. Then the human ship sent a message, "Please stop. You may hurt yourselves." The voice was quiet, almost gentle, but the message felt heavier than any weapon. The Xandor officers looked at each other. They had fired everything they had, and the humans replied like a parent speaking to children having a tantrum. The captain shouted angrily at Larrick over comms, "You fool! You caused this." Larrick was shaking. I thought they were going to attack. Your fear almost started a war." The captain yelled, but there was no time to argue. The obsidian spear moved, slowly, calmly. A ring of blue energy formed around the ship. Not a weapon, something else. Something more advanced than anything the galaxy had ever seen. "Is it charging to fire?" an officer asked, trembling. "No," the captain whispered. "That's something different." The ring expanded, sending out a wave of soft, shimmering blue light. It passed through every Xandor ship. Officers braced for pain, for heat, for destruction, but none came. Instead, the wave simply disabled every ship. Weapons melted quietly into harmless metal. Shields collapsed gently. Engines powered down without explosion. Lights flickered off one by one. In less than 5 seconds, the entire Xandor patrol fleet was defeated, not destroyed. Not damaged, not killed, just disabled, completely. The captain sat in silence, smoke rising from his console. He felt humiliated, but also relieved. The humans clearly had the power to wipe them out, but instead they showed control, precision, restraint. Another message arrived from the obsidian spear. "You are safe. There is no harm intended." The captain's hands trembled. "They defeated us, without hurting anyone." Another officer whispered, "If they wanted war, we would all be dead right now." The patrol fleet floated powerless in silence. The human warship, still glowing softly, looked more like a guardian than a monster, but its power was undeniable. Across the galaxy, the news spread instantly. Every empire heard what happened. One human warship defeated a full patrol fleet. Without firing a single weapon, some species felt hope. Some felt panic. Some prepared for war. But all of them realized the same truth. Humans were no longer a small, harmless species. They were something much greater, and the galaxy would have to face that truth soon. The Xandor patrol fleet floated helplessly in the darkness, like broken toys drifting on a silent ocean. Engines dead, weapons melted, shields gone. Even their emergency lights flickered weakly. No one moved. No one spoke. Everyone felt the same cold truth in their bones. They had been defeated without violence. The obsidian spear hovered calmly in front of them, glowing softly with its blue energy veins. It did not approach. It did not fire. It simply watched. Its quiet presence felt more powerful than any attack. Inside the Xandor flagship, the captain breathed slowly, trying to keep control of his fear. He had never felt so powerless. The galaxy's strongest empire, humbled in seconds by a species they once mocked. The communication system crackled. A faint signal came through from the human ship. "You are not harmed. We wish to explain." The captain looked at his officers. None of them knew how to respond. Finally, he nodded. "Open channel." A calm human voice filled the bridge. "We did not come to fight," said the voice. "We came to explore. But you attacked, so we defended ourselves in the safest way possible. The captain swallowed. Your defensive method disabled our entire fleet. That was intentional, the human replied. We do not believe in unnecessary death. The captain felt a strange mix of fear and respect. Whoever these humans were, they had mastered something beyond imagination. Power with control, strength with calm. It was frightening because it was so precise. The captain asked, "How did your ship appear without a jump signature? What engine are you using?" The human did not answer that question. Instead, he said, "We would like to meet. Face to face. Your leaders and ours. There is much we need to discuss." The captain stared at the dark screen. A part of him wanted to refuse, but another part knew this was the safest path. If humans wanted war, they would have already started it. "Very well," he said. "We will inform the Imperial Council." After the message ended, the officer next to him whispered, "Sir, are we really going to meet them? After what they did?" "They spared us," the captain replied. "That means something." Back on the Xandor capital, the council chamber filled with loud voices and rising panic. The report from the patrol fleet had reached them. The images, the audio, the impossible results. How can humans disable ships with a single pulse? How can they protect themselves from all weapons? What technology is this? The room turned wild. Some shouted for war. Some demanded surrender. Some suggested forcing humans to reveal their secrets. But the chairperson raised her hand, silencing everyone. "Enough," she said. "We cannot defeat what we do not understand." The council fell quiet. "Our patrol was disabled without harm," she continued. "That means humans are giving us an option. They want peace. We should listen." The council eventually agreed, not because they trusted humans, but because they feared them. A meeting was arranged. The Obsidian Spear opened a docking bay. Unlike other ships, the bay did not show metal doors or mechanical locks. Instead, the hull shifted smoothly like liquid metal, forming an entrance. The docking area glowed with pale blue light, clean and silent. The council selected 3 representatives. They boarded a diplomatic shuttle, one of the few ships still able to move, and slowly approached the human bay. The tension inside the shuttle was so heavy it felt like air had turned into stone. As they entered the docking bay, their eyes widened. The inside of the human warship did not look like any vessel they had seen. It felt more like stepping inside a living star. Soft light floated through the air, following the path of the shuttle. Walls pulsed gently with energy. No wires, no seams. Everything was smooth, flowing, and almost organic. One delegate whispered, "This is not engineering. This is art." The shuttle landed. A platform extended from the floor, forming steps. At the top, a human delegation waited. 3 figures in dark navy uniforms standing with perfect posture, their faces calm, their expressions steady. The lead human stepped forward. He was tall, with sharp eyes that held a quiet strength. "Welcome aboard the Obsidian Spear," he said. The Xandor delegates bowed slightly. The human commander looked at them with a polite but serious expression. "This ship is not a weapon of conquest. It is a vessel of peace and protection. But your power," one Xandor representative whispered. The commander nodded. "Humanity has grown faster than the galaxy expected. How?" the representative asked. The commander raised his hand, gesturing toward the glowing walls. "We redesigned our understanding of physics. We learned from our mistakes. We built technology whose purpose is not just strength but responsibility." There was something in his voice. A weight, a history, a story not being told yet. "We only wanted safety," he added softly. "We waited to show ourselves until we were sure we could defend our home." The Xandor delegates exchanged glances. They had expected arrogance, pride, threats. But what they saw instead was confidence mixed with caution. One representative asked the question everyone feared. "If you can defeat us so easily, why not rule the galaxy?" The human commander looked at him steadily. "Because ruling others creates fear," he said. "Fear creates war. War destroys everything. Humanity has seen enough destruction." The room fell silent. Then the commander added something even more surprising. "And we are not the only ones rising." The delegates tensed. "What do you mean?" "There are others," he said. "Other human ships. Other human fleets. We kept them hidden until now. But the galaxy is changing. We must step forward. A cold chill ran through the Xandor representatives. How many ships do you have? One asked quietly. The commander did not smile. He did not boast. He simply said, "Enough." That single word echoed through the docking bay like thunder. Outside, in the dark of space, the obsidian spear pulsed with calm blue light. As if listening to the conversation, the galaxy had underestimated humans. Now it would learn who they really were. The Xandor delegates followed the human commander deeper into the obsidian spear. Each step echoed softly on the polished floor, which glowed with a faint blue light as if guiding them forward. The air inside felt different, clean, warm, and strangely peaceful. There was no hum of engines, no rattling of metal, no mechanical sounds at all. It felt alive. Everything about the ship created a quiet pressure on the mind. It wasn't aggressive, it wasn't threatening, but its beauty and smooth design made the delegates feel small, as if they had stepped into the future. They entered a tall chamber where the ceiling curved like the inside of a glowing dome. Floating screens hovered in the air, shifting and rotating without any support. The technology looked too advanced to belong to a species once considered weak. The human commander stopped and turned toward the delegates. "We will speak here," he said. "This is our council chamber." The Xandor representatives nodded nervously. They took their seats at a long table that formed itself out of the floor, like liquid metal reacting to their presence. Nothing in this ship followed normal rules. It was like stepping into another dimension. The human commander sat across from them, joined by two other human officers. All three wore dark uniforms with silver lines running across the sleeves. Their faces held calm confidence but no pride. The lead Xandor delegate took a breath and spoke first. "We appreciate this meeting, but we must ask, why now? Why reveal yourselves this way?" The human commander folded his hands on the table. "Because the galaxy is changing. We can feel it. Borders are shifting. Old alliances are breaking. New threats are rising." The delegates exchanged a tense look. They knew he was right. "And humanity," the commander continued, "has reached a point where we can no longer stay quiet. We must step forward as equal partners in this galaxy." The second Xandor delegate leaned forward carefully. "Your ship, your technology, it is far beyond anything we expected. How did you achieve this?" The commander took a slow breath. He seemed to choose his words with care. "For many years, humans fought among themselves," he said. "War after war, conflict after conflict. We nearly destroyed ourselves, but we also learned. We grew stronger. We changed. We unified." He paused, letting the truth settle. "When we finally looked beyond our planet, we realized something. We were alone, unprotected, and inexperienced. The galaxy had species stronger than us, older than us, and larger than us. So we prepared." The third Xandor representative spoke quietly. "Prepared for what?" "For contact," the human commander answered. "But also for danger." He gestured, and one of the floating screens lit up. It showed Earth, surrounded by construction. Rings, massive shipyards, and thousands of ships moving like silver sparks in orbit. The delegate stared in shock. "You built all this in secret?" one asked. "Not in secret," the commander replied, "but without drawing attention." Another screen appeared, showing fleets of human ships in formation. Sleek designs, massive dreadnoughts, smaller escort ships, carriers, even stranger crafts shaped like glowing discs with rotating cores. "How many fleets does humanity possess?" a delegate whispered. "Enough to defend our home," the commander said again. The delegates' hearts pounded. They had never imagined humans had grown so fast. For decades, the Xandor Empire had dismissed humans as a young species. Now they saw an empire rising before their eyes. The lead Xandor representative asked carefully, "Why did you disable our patrol fleet?" "To protect you," the commander said, surprising them again. "Your ships were firing blindly. If we retaliated with force, it would have destroyed many lives. So we chose the safest option." The delegates felt a strange mix of relief and fear. The human ship held unimaginable power. But it chose mercy. The commander leaned forward slightly. "We do not want war with any species. We want peace. But peace is only possible if we show that we are not weak. He tapped the table. A hologram showed the scene from earlier, the Xandor patrol fleet attacking. Then it showed the human response. A single controlled pulse disabling everything. "We do not want to dominate," he said softly, "but we will not be bullied." A silence fell over the room. The second Xandor delegate finally asked, "What do you want from us?" "A meeting," the commander replied, "with the leaders of the major empires in the galaxy. We must speak together. We must build trust, and we must share the truth." "What truth?" the lead delegate asked. The commander hesitated for the first time since the meeting began. "There are shadows moving in the outer regions of the galaxy," he said quietly. "Signals we cannot identify. Ships we cannot track. Activities we do not understand." The delegate stiffened. "You mean another species?" one whispered. "Something more," the commander said. The delegates felt a chill crawl down their skin. He continued, "Humanity has seen these signals. We know they are real. We know someone is studying the galaxy, and we know they are not friendly." The room went completely silent. The hologram changed again. It displayed a massive dark shape floating beyond the galactic rim. No clear design, no signals, just a silhouette with eyes glowing faintly red. The Xandor delegates felt fear coil around their hearts. "What? What is that?" one stammered. "We do not know," the commander admitted. "But we believe they have been watching the galaxy for centuries, waiting, preparing." The delegates stared at the terrifying image. The commander stood slowly. "This," he said, "is why humanity built ships like the Obsidian Spear. Not to conquer, not to intimidate, but to prepare for the threat that is coming." The delegates felt their world shift. Humanity was not rising out of pride, but because something darker was on its way. The commander looked at them with steady eyes. "We are not your enemy," he said. "But the galaxy will need unity, and courage, and strength. Humanity offers all three." The delegates slowly stood as well. For the first time they saw humans not as a surprise, but as hope. The human commander extended his hand. "Let us face the future together." The lead Xandor representative placed his hand in the human's. In that moment everything changed. The galaxy would never be the same again. The handshake between the human commander and the Xandor representative was simple, quiet, and small. Yet it felt like a moment that history would remember for thousands of years, a pact formed not between two species, but between two futures. The delegates were escorted back to their shuttle. The docking bay glowed softly as the wall shifted and sealed like a living thing. When the shuttle left the Obsidian Spear, the delegates kept watching the human ship through the windows. None of them spoke until the shuttle drifted far enough away. Then the lead representative whispered, "We must tell the council." "Everything changes now," the other two nodded silently. But news travels fast in the galaxy. Too fast. Before the delegates even reached home, the story had spread. Dozens of navies, governments, and colonies heard about the human warship. They heard how it appeared without warning. They heard how it disabled a full Xandor fleet without hurting anyone. And they heard the most frightening part. Humans were preparing for something else. A hidden threat. A stranger in the dark. Some species panicked. Some accused Xandor of provoking humans. Some accused humans of lying. Others began sending signals toward human space, seeking alliances or simply begging not to be ignored. Within days, the entire political map of the galaxy began to shake. But humanity stayed silent. Inside the Obsidian Spear, the human commander returned to his private chamber. He stood in front of a large window, watching the stars drift slowly across the black canvas of space. He pressed a control on his wrist. A soft voice answered, "Command channel open." He spoke quietly. "This region is aware of us now." Another voice replied from Earth, strong and confident. "Good, it is time." The commander lowered his head. "They asked how many fleets we have. What did you tell them?" The voice asked. "The truth," the commander answered. "Enough." The voice on the other end chuckled lightly. You always choose the simplest answer. A pause. And? Did they accept a meeting? Yes, the commander said. They will gather their leadership. They will listen. The voice became serious. Good. The galaxy needs unity. The signs at the rim grow stronger. We must move carefully. The screen dimmed. The commander stared outside again, as if the stars were whispering secrets. Meanwhile, the Xandor delegates arrived at their capital. The council chamber filled instantly. There was no space for fear, no time for pride. Everyone understood that everything they once believed about humans had been wrong. The delegates stood before the full council and began to speak. They explained the ship. They explained the technology. They explained the hologram of the unknown threat. They explained humanity's strength and humanity's restraint. The chamber grew heavy. One elder counselor finally asked, "Do you believe humans intend to rule the galaxy?" The lead delegate shook his head. No, they do not want thrones. They want allies. They want preparation. And do you trust them? The counselor asked. The delegate hesitated. Then he answered, I trust their fear. It is the same as ours. The council fell silent. Across other worlds, other leaders were having the same discussions. Many feared humans. Many wanted their help. Many wanted to understand how humanity rose so quickly. But whether they liked it or not, the galaxy was being pulled toward a new center of gravity: humanity. Days later, a large meeting took place on the space station Jarun Prime, a neutral ground. Dozens of ships arrived, small vessels, heavy cruisers, carriers, research ships, each carrying representatives from different species. But when the Obsidian Spear arrived, everything stopped, not because it was dangerous, not because it was feared, but because everyone finally saw what the Xandor fleet had seen, a ship that represented a new era. As the human commander stepped onto the station's platform, everyone stared. Some with suspicion, some with fear, some with hope. He spoke first. Thank you for coming, he said. We stand here not as conquerors, not as challengers, but as members of this galaxy. He pointed toward a glowing screen behind him. The same image he showed the Xandor, the shadow at the edge of space. This is our concern, he said. Not you. Not your borders. Not your fleets. This. A representative from the Jadari kingdom asked, Do you know its name? No, the commander said. Only that it watches. A Clyron ambassador whispered, Why show us this? Why not hide it? The commander answered with calm certainty. Because the galaxy will not survive if it stays divided. Humanity learned this on its own world. We learned unity from our mistakes. A hush fell over the room. We did not build ships like the Obsidian Spear to rule, he said. We built them because we were afraid. We built them because we wanted to protect our people. And now we want to protect more than just ourselves. Representatives leaned in. Even those who disliked humans felt the truth in his voice. The commander placed his hand on the table. We propose a council, a new alliance, one where all species share danger and share responsibility. Silence filled the chamber again. Then slowly one delegate stepped forward. It was the Xandor representative. We faced your strength, he said. We saw your mercy. We believe you. Then the Jadari stepped forward. Then the Drell. Then the Clyron delegate with shining scales. One by one they agreed. Some still feared humans. Some still doubted them. But none could deny the truth. Humans had the strength to stand alone. Yet they chose not to. That choice changed everything. When the meeting ended, the human commander returned to the Obsidian Spear. The ship drifted quietly, watching over the newly formed alliance. He looked out at the stars and whispered, We are ready. Somewhere far away beyond the edge of the galaxy, the unseen watchers stirred. Their red lights blinked in the dark, their machines whispered. Their signals pulsed. They had noticed humanity, and the galaxy had just united around the species they once underestimated. A new dawn began, a dawn shaped by humans, by courage, and by a warship that changed everything.